let's get started. We can't cheers because you're driving, so we'll do a cheers. Cheers.
Plastic water bottle.
How was last night after I left? Because you had the cherry tone thing you guys played. What went down after? Because it was pretty wild.
It was.
I got there when it started basically 10 or just after 10, and it was packed up there.
Yeah, it was just weird because apparently the last one there was absolutely no one upstairs. It was completely closed.
Yeah.
Before they had started, and this time we went upstairs and there were 15, 20 people already sitting up there, and it was oh, hey guys.
Yeah.
So they just kind of stuck around, and I think people from downstairs saw us walking upstairs.
Yeah.
And so they kind of just followed us.
Oh, what's going up there?
Yeah.
Oh, something's on. Yeah.
People just started pouring in, and we were like, holy crap, this is great.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, by the time I got up there, it was just it was packed. That whole room was just, yeah.
I didn't really expect it because of what happened last time with no one being up there. But yeah, it was great. The energy was unreal, to be fair.
Yeah.
I hadn't played a set an in-person set in a while.
In-person set. I love it. How now you have to say I've played I've played at home a live stream, but I haven't played an in-person set. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done one in a while. So when everyone just started rolling in, it was just gone 9 when we had started. It was yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great. We love the energy.
Yeah. And what happened after? Because I think I left around 11. I think you had just finished.
Yeah.
When I left, you finished at 11. Is that right?
Yeah, 10 to 11.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened? Did you stick around for long or?
I think I left at 12:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't end up staying very long because I was staying with my boyfriend and he had work in the morning. We couldn't stay for too much longer. But we just went into some heavy bass house vibes, and the crowd honestly just got more and more wild.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Probably because people were getting more and more smashed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, like I said, we were talking before, and with the Friday knockoffs thing, I was 5 o'clock I started drinking, so I was wasted by the time it was 11 when I left, and it's I've been drinking for 6 hours, out proper drinking at a club. So
probably time to call it quits.
Yeah, well, yeah, I knew I had to do this, and then I've got a big weekend. So, but yeah, that's awesome that it went really well, and you've got some other stuff coming up soon.
Yeah, I've got another one next Saturday. It's called Inflorescence, and that's just at Alfred and Constance.
Yeah.
Underneath
the Fever Club thing.
Yeah.
Is that what is it still called? Fever Club?
I think it's still called Fever Club.
I love that. I love that room because it's real nice
dark
and small
and
dark.
dungeony.
Yeah, it's real boiler room sort of vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's next Saturday. Not sure what my set time will be yet.
Yeah.
But I guess that'll come out
Figure
soon.
that out, yeah. Because that's a new sort of crew running that, isn't that?
Yeah.
The people running that, yeah.
I believe they did one last year,
Yeah.
maybe around sort of when we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
So obviously they haven't been
Great
back
timing.
since. Yeah.
It's you've got all these plans and it's COVID, yep. Yeah.
But it's the same people.
Yeah, cool. And that one's that's got a bit of a pretty diverse sort of range of genres, because I think Sebastian's playing there, Falcone.
Yeah.
I saw that. So that's going to be pretty obviously music's a bit different to the tech house sort of genre, but so that'll be interesting, that multi-genre type thing. I think that's a really cool thing to events to have.
Yeah, I think that's what they're sort of going for. When I got a message about it, he pretty much just said you play whatever you want. There is absolutely no limit on what you can and can't play. So I think that's really good. Just let people play whatever they like and express.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because it's and then you build an event or whatever where people know that when they go to it. So you're going to it for that. It's not you're just going out and it's oh, I know this song.
Yeah.
Or, you don't have to know when you play a lot of clubs and that it's oh, it's got to be this or it's got to be this.
Play to your set time.
Yeah, and it's got to be this, and it's just play whatever. I love that in events and that. So yeah, cool. I think I might be coming to see that. I think because I think I was talking to Lucas, Data Roaming.
Yeah.
He came in early yesterday, and I'm playing the thing that Kobe's doing, the Friendly Fires. French Fires. Stream next week, I think. And I think Lucas is playing that one as well. And then I think he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come back and go to that." So maybe I'll tag along with him. Yeah, exactly. It's like, meant to be. But yeah, we'll see, because I think I'm meant to be playing on the Gold Coast during the day that day too. So
going all over the place.
Yeah, it'll be pretty busy. But so what's been going on since, like, COVID? You said you haven't. It's your first sort of gig playing in person. Well, what have you been up to?
I have played a couple, but I just haven't played. Like, I've had a couple of months break.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess when we couldn't really play out, I just started sort of trying to get into production and then just uploading mixes and things. I mean, I don't know. I literally had nothing to do. Like, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. It was almost like a blessing in disguise for my production, because I didn't really know like how to start and how to approach it at first. And I was already I'm still at uni. I'm like working. I'm still doing all that stuff. So production at that point before I'd started was not. It wasn't at the front of my mind.
Yeah, you just didn't have time. Like, you had all this stuff on. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, once everything got taken away, it was like, well, may as well.
Yeah. What else are we gonna do? Yeah.
May as well run with it.
Yeah. And so you were just telling me before that you've got something you're working on that you like. So that's exciting. Yeah. Well, it's I reckon it takes a while before you actually start writing music that you like. You write stuff and you're like, oh, that sounds so shit. Like, you're like, you sort of, you don't like your own music for so long, I think. And so that's awesome that you've got something keen on.
Yeah. I kind of like, I think it's got a bit of potential. But I also, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is like the first thing that I'm working on. And for all I know, like, I don't really know any. Obviously, I know what good music sounds like, but the nitty gritty, like production, technical things, I'm like, this could be completely wrong for all I know.
And that's the thing, like, I think as you do, you learn more production stuff and your ears get trained and things. It's like you listen to things, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. Whereas before you would just think and go, oh, that sounds cool. Like, but then your ear gets a bit tuned to it. You'll have to come to one of the producer meetups we do once you get into it a bit more and you're a bit more confident.
Yeah.
Because we've got it tomorrow at midday, like on Sunday. It's the last Sunday of every month. And like we usually get like 10 to 20 producers come, and everyone brings like their laptop or USB with the tune on, and they play it in the studio here, and everyone sort of can give feedback. And
I think that'd be really valuable.
Yeah, it's awesome. And everyone has a few beers and people like nerd out. Like, people literally like nerd out on music production. Like, oh, what wavetable are you using on that synth? Like, oh, I use this and then I'm using this and I automate that. And it's like, it gets real nerdy, but it's like, it's awesome if you're into it. And it's great for feedback, because you've got people of all different genres there that can, tell you about, oh, you should do this or you should try this. And it's not like when you send it online and they have to go at 2 minutes and 1 second, that beepy sound, instead, you don't have to like try and describe it. You can go, that bit, go back, that bit. Yeah. So that's really cool. You'll have to come and do that one time and bring some tunes. But yeah, that's cool. And you've been doing like heaps of like graphic sort of art design stuff for people lately. Every time I see like a new poster from someone, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Zoe did that one.
Yeah, Lucas actually said a similar thing to me. I think it might have been something I did for Oscar, for one of his, he did a mix, like an ID showcase, and I did the artwork for it, and Lucas was like, oh, I knew it. I could instantly tell that was you. Yeah.
So when did you start like the graphic design stuff? Is that what you're doing at uni? You said you're at uni? Or?
Yeah. Well, I guess I basically started back in high school in like year 8. But it wasn't anything serious. It was just like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. Like, I could get to make things. I think it was like a bit different back then as well, because it wasn't like we had to learn a certain thing. Like, obviously how to learn, how to use all the programs and that, but we were designing certain things. I couldn't really go off on my own and do.
Yeah, it was school. Yeah, it was school based. This is the assignment. Oh, but I want to make a gig flyer. No,
Yeah.
You have to make a logo for an earth-moving company, like something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's I guess where I started, and then it kind of just, I guess, as I went on through school, I just sort of started to build my skills with it. And then I think it got to about year 11 or maybe end of year 11. So I was just about to go into year 12. And so obviously I was trying to think about like what I wanted to do at university. And originally, because I have a gymnastics background, as you know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that soon.
So I was quite sporty growing up. And I wanted to be a physio, and I was like quite set on that for ages.
Same.
Yeah. So set on physio. Yeah. And then, I don't know, it just kind of, I don't think it was as realistic of a like goal for me as design was, because I think like since coming out of school, like it all makes sense to me. I know I have a very creative mind. I don't really like numbers, things like that, science. I'm like, no. So my mind is very creative. So I guess that was more realistic. And so then I just started doing it at uni, and I guess I didn't really take it like serious until about like maybe just over 2 years ago. Where I started doing freelancing for people. So I would just, like, if they needed artwork for a mix done or for a song, anything like that, like SoundCloud artwork, like I'd just do it for them. And at first I was doing a bunch of free work, but then it kind of turned into like an actual job for me. So
that's kind of how it starts for a lot of things though, isn't it? Especially in like the creative sort of industries and that. It's like, you know, you start out doing like free stuff, and then someone's like, oh no, that's cool. Like you should be paid for that. Like so that's cool. So now you've got that portfolio, and you're doing like artwork for heaps of stuff. I see it all the time. Like people with like all the gig posters and stuff like that. That's awesome. So that's a good little like, you know, side hustle for at the moment, I suppose. Yeah, while you're finishing. How long till you finish?
About a year left.
Yeah, cool.
So I think I actually go back to uni next week. So that's great.
Back at uni. What happened like during COVID? Were you still doing uni in that?
Yes. So I think I can't remember how long it was. I think it might have been for about 2 weeks. They just stopped classes altogether because they like didn't know what to do. Yeah.
Like, so how do we do this online?
Yeah. We were like, I was like, fuck yeah, like get a bit of a break. I can chill. I still had assignments and stuff due. Yeah. So that was always in the back of my mind, but I guess we just had a bit of a break so they could sort their stuff out. And then they would basically let us know that it was going to be online, like Zoom tutorials and things like that for the rest of the semester. And it ended up being was it about half of semester 1 and then all of semester 2, and even now in like this semester 1 of this year, we're still like, we've got the option to do it online, and I'm like, cool. Hell yeah. Like at first I didn't like it at all because it was just, I didn't think that I was going to be able to keep up with the work as good as I would in person, but now I think it's great because I can just like wake up 10 minutes before my class.
You don't have to get there, and you don't have to like, you don't have to like,
much easier.
You know, like get all dressed up and look respectable or anything. Yeah, just be in like pajamas or something at home.
And they don't even make you turn, unless you're doing like a presentation or something. Yeah, they don't make you turn your cameras on, and obviously if you need to talk at any point, you just unmute yourself, and most of the time you're muted, so it's like you just sit there watching, looking like a drowned rat. Like
I think Sebastian Falcone, he sent us a link. It was like, oh, one of my friends is in a Zoom thing for uni and said to like jump in, and so a heap of us like just jumped in on this Zoom. They were talking about like interpretation of some art or something like that, and we're all just in there like just like watching and like looking at people, and we're like, what is this? Like, that was pretty funny. But I've seen some funny things with the Zoom stuff. Yeah, people doing funny like stuff. Yeah,
there's been a few like it's a couple of times where they like the students think that they're muted, but they're actually not, and they start talking shit about the tutor, and they're not on mute, and so the tutor's just like, just so you know, you're not on mute, and they're like,
oh no, that's the worst. Yeah,
it's a bit awkward, but it's funny to watch if you're not the person that's.
That's. Did you ever you didn't get caught out? No. So it's funny. Yeah,
I'm always very careful about my mute and my camera. So
good stuff. And so gymnastics. Let's talk about it quickly. Because my sister, who was way better at gymnastics than I was, she was like, she saw the Valley lockdown thing, and was like, oh. That girl in the video, she used to do gymnastics at, I can't remember where it was, what club?
Well, I was at Spring Hill, but then they like closed down, but they merged with Moreton Bay, so it became Premier. So I was at Premier.
That's what it was. Yeah, because she was, I think she coached for them or something.
Yeah.
So how did gymnastics start? Like, when did you start? And
oh gosh,
was it young?
Very far.
Yeah, because you usually do start quite young for gymnastics.
Yeah,
generally.
I think I started when I was like 5.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And I guess it just started out like anyone would. You just go into like kinder gym and do. Yeah, they teach you how to do forward rolls and like
handstand competitions.
Yeah, it was like really just basic like rec sort of stuff. But I don't know. I guess I don't really know exactly what happened to make me go into competitive, but I guess like
I don't know what happened. I
don't really remember.
Kept training.
I don't know whether one of the coaches was like to my mum, she's pretty good. She should like come into competitive, or mum was just like, do you want to go competitive?
I mean, if you like it too, like, because that's like I started with recreational classes, and I remember when I started, I was like, I don't want to go to gymnastics, like I don't want to do it, but like my parents were like, oh, I was doing
You'll
basketball.
Thank us one day.
I was doing basketball at the time. I think I was like grade 2 or something. Like I was real young, and I was doing basketball, and they were kind of like, you're never going to be awesome at basketball. You're not going to be tall enough. Like, they didn't say that, but like that's what they were thinking. Like, you could be really good at gymnastics. You've got like like you're more like that body type.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. It's so blah, blah, blah. And then I went to the one class, and we had a handstand comp, and I won. And I was like, this is awesome. I want to go back. And then it sort of went from there. So I think that's like it. Sometimes it's just that you sort of enjoy it, I guess, and you must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I stuck with it for like 12 years or something. So
you must have.
I did love it. It's just like,
how much were you training at like the peak? Because like gymnastics is like stupid.
Yeah,
like the amount of training that you do, like people don't like understand. Like
I honestly don't know. Like when I look back on that, I don't know how I used to do that. Honestly, like I was so fit and like strong, it was like ridiculous.
But it doesn't feel like you're fit and you're strong. You
no,
can just
exactly.
do things.
like
you don't feel fit or strong. You're like, I can just do things.
I didn't know anything else because it's like I trained from 5 years old, so it's like I was always very strong. So I didn't know anything else, and then once I stopped. I was pretty strong for a while, but
you slowly lose it, eh?
Yeah. I've got no arm strength whatsoever. Like I can't climb the rope. Like how you climb with no legs. I can't climb the rope anymore. I used to do
like 10 meters in like 5 seconds, like that, just like straight up. And now it's like I struggle to even get up to the top. Like
it's hard. But yeah, I guess at my peak, I think I was training like 22 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I would have been like 16 or 17.
So you're still at school as well.
Yeah, and I was just, the reason I did stop was because I was like, I kept getting injured all the time.
Oh, that's the worst. You were one of those gymnasts.
Yeah, I just
get injured, and then it's like, then they do the ankle again, and then it's like always ankles. Was it an ankle?
Yes.
Yes, like, see, it's always ankles.
There was a point in time where I was in ankle braces on both ankles, and I had them like strapping tape underneath.
Like
so
every training sort of session you had to.
Like I had the braces on both ankles. I had, the tiger paws, like the wrist guards. I had the braces on both wrists, and then I also had a back brace.
Like, you were just kept together by tape and braces. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I remember going to a comp looking like that. I think it might have been States actually. They held it at Chandler.
Yeah.
I went to one of those comps and I was in all these braces and I just looked ridiculous. I was like, how am I doing
Yeah, they're like I don't know.
My mum was like, what?
Your body's falling apart. I don't know. I don't know if this is good to keep doing it. But it's so addictive at the time. Like I stopped in grade 11 for 6 months. And then I was like, I wanted to go back because I missed it. Like, and I went back, but it took me like a year to get back to where I was because, like
lose everything so quickly.
Yeah, it's like they always sort of say like the amount of time you have off, it takes you like twice that to get back to where you were. And it was true. So I was like, we should stop
lying.
for 6 months. Yeah. But like, did you used to do morning training as well?
Yeah, we did like.
Hate morning training.
Because so I went to girls' grammar. So back when I was in school, like in my sort of earlier years of that school, they had the gym, like the gymnastics gym down in the sports hall. Yep. So that's where I would train. So I'd literally go into school at like 6 a.m., train until like 8.
Yeah.
And then just get changed and like shower and stuff and go to class. Like I didn't have to drive anywhere. Like it was really easy.
Yeah.
But then they ended up moving because they were bringing in the incoming year 7s. Like they were introducing that to high school.
When they did that changeover.
Yeah. And so they needed more room for assemblies. So they got rid of the gym and we were all very not happy about that.
Yeah. Because then what happened? Like, did you have to go train?
Yeah. So
somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was at the point in time where.
It's good. It's good.
I just looked down and I was like,
it's good.
Shit. This was at the point in time where my club was shutting down. We were merging with the other club. So the gym was going, like the club was closing. And so it was either going to be I trained at Somerville House, which is obviously closer, or I trained at Moreton Bay. Well, for me, Somerville was closer where I lived. Or Moreton Bay, but at Moreton Bay, it was like you had the better coaches, like the more qualified, high up coaches.
Who's coaching there then? Was Sasha?
I had Deb. Do you know Debbie?
Yeah, I know Debbie.
I had Debbie. I love Debbie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know her well. She would know that I'm a mayor's brother. Yeah. She was like, oh, you're a mayor's brother. Like,
yes. There was one other coach there, but I can't remember her name. She was Russian though.
Yeah. Olga and Sasha.
No,
they'd moved on.
Yeah,
somewhere
I think they were
else.
at Chandler.
They moved at Chandler. Yeah. Everyone else out there is just like, who are these people that these guys are naming? Like everyone in the music industry, like, what are these guys talking about? That's but that's so. What level did you end up like getting to?
I got to level 9.
Ooh, level 9.
So look, I could have done level 10, but like I said, I kept getting injured. Like what put me out was I had a stress fracture in my like foot about there.
Yeah.
And
that stuff doesn't really heal real well too when it's like a stress fracture. Yeah, stress fractures, yeah.
But the thing is that because I was still in school and I was doing senior PE, and we for each term we'd like swap different things. And this term was aerobics. I really loved aerobics. But I was doing aerobics and I was training like a shit ton. So obviously it was just from overuse, and it just started getting sore one day, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
Out of nowhere, it just starts getting sore, and you're like, "You didn't do anything to it. It didn't." It's the weirdest thing.
What's going on? But it wasn't sore to the point where I was like, "Oh my God, I need to go and get this looked at." Like it was kind of all right, and then so like I didn't really think too much of it for a while, and then I eventually went to the physio, or I went to get it scanned or something, and they were like, "Oh, you've got a stress fracture in your foot. We're gonna have to put you in a boot."
In a boot.
I was like, "Okay, that's really weird." Like it didn't hurt. It didn't really hurt. I was like, "Damn, this is so shit." It was a bit sore,
but it's weird, though, isn't it? Yeah.
And because it's like in your foot, they were like, you need to stay off it for a while. You need to let it heal properly. Otherwise, it's just like you walk around every single day, it's not going to heal properly.
Yeah.
And then you'll just have this niggling thing for life pretty much.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, God.
Can I guess what your best apparatus was?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess you were good at beam.
No, I was terrible at beam.
Okay,
oh my God. I was so bad at beam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was.
Okay,
I
what was your
actually
best
really
then?
hated it as well. I hated beam. It was just like, why would I want to do shit on like a 10 centimeter?
because it's hard.
Like the amount of times I split the beam or
Yeah.
just fell on my face, and it was just like.
So what was your best? Was your best or your favorite maybe?
Oh, I think bars was my best.
Yeah.
I was quite good at vault as well when I could land my vault. I had trouble.
Yeah, well, that's the whole part of vault though.
Yeah.
That's like the main
used to
thing.
souk, and I used to have trouble landing
Yeah.
souks because I didn't know like where I was in the air, and I just fucking wing it. Like if I crushed my ankles, like that's so be it.
I remember doing that when I went to nationals for level 7 the first time, and it was just like, we're just gonna throw it. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah,
like it was
literally,
like
we will see what happens.
was not good at it. Like I'd just throw it, and like sometimes I'd land it all right. Sometimes I'd not land it all right.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
Nah. But yeah, I think bars was also my favorite too. Even though I feel like for a girl, I'm quite tall.
I was going to say that. That's why that's why I didn't guess bars, because I thought, oh, you would have had to like, did you have to have the bars up?
Yeah.
And everything like higher and all that?
Yeah. So at comps, like once I sort of grew a bit more, I was always, because, you know, you have to line up in height order and stuff. I was always at the back of the line. And then when we would get to bars, my coach would have to go over to the judges and be like, so one of my girls is quite tall, and when she giants on bars, she like hits the floor from the high bar. And so I had to get the bars lifted up. They had to put like these little block things under them, and then they also had to move them out.
Under the bars, like they couldn't, like it wouldn't adjust.
Well, like at first, because they were sort of the older style bars, they just lifted them up and put blocks underneath.
That sounds so dangerous. That sounds so bad.
Yeah, eventually when they sort of became better, like better quality, they could just move them out and like push them out, and then they could also just wind them up. But yeah, I'd get them out a little bit and up, so it was like sort of the same as the other people, but it was just taller, so I didn't hit the ground.
That's a good thing about like guys. We just use the one bar and it's higher.
Yeah,
so it's like you don't have to worry about like, you know, like straddling your legs or anything. And it's easy.
It was quite the hassle. I won't lie. But got to do what you got to do.
So when did you stop then? Like when did you actually stop gymnastics?
I think it was the end of my grade 11. So I was, so I had that stress fracture in my foot, and I was going into seniors, and I was training like so much, and it was just like, it was a lot. So I was about to go into senior. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to call it quits.
Yeah.
I feel like it had been coming for a while though, like about 6 months, because I had like other injuries I was dealing with as well. So I was kind of prepared. Just
held together by tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always like, I feel like every gym has one of those people. Yeah. Usually girls. I don't know why. Like, it seems to be girls that do their ankles all the time. I feel like
just guys are just stronger. So maybe they're like ligaments and stuff.
I think because it's a lot of the time it's ankles. And I think like a lot of what girls do is with their legs, like floor, beam, vault. Whereas guys, it's only like floor and vault, like pommels, rings, P-bars, high bar. It's mainly not touching, using your legs. So I think
upper body stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit different. But that's grade 12. Like I said, I had 6 months off at the start of grade 11, and then I got back into it. And I remember like grade 12, it was like I went to States or whatever, and I think because it's usually
or whatever.
No, but it's 2 days of comp. Yeah. Like I remember, like because I'd already been in the state team a few times, and it was like I got there and we did the first day, and I did like well. It was only level 8. I ended up doing level 9, but not at like states or nationals. and they were like, oh yeah, we think we want to have you in the team like for it. And it was like because it's like the day before, and I was like, oh look guys, even if I get in, I'm actually not going to do it this year because it was my first time I got in a musical, and I was like, oh, I'm a lead in a musical, and they just looked at me and like they looked at me. They're
rude.
like, "Are you serious? You're gonna go like be in a musical?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's the same week as nationals. I can't do it." They were real angry at that.
Like, fuck you! I'll go be in a musical if I want to.
Yeah, so that was funny. But yeah, same thing. Like grade 12, so much going on, and like just like the training, like
it was
doing
intense.
like sick, like you said, training at 6 a.m. for an hour or two, and then going to school.
Yeah.
And then, because I used to do music in the afternoon, a band or rehearsal or choir or something, and then go straight to gym again afterwards. So it was literally like you'd go to gym, go to school, do band, go to gym again, go home and go to sleep.
Yep.
Wake up the next day,
do it all again. Oh,
man. I don't, like you said, I don't know how we did it.
No,
it was
I've
like
got no.
crazy. And you said that you did music like growing up. Or
yeah.
You said you've got a musical background. So what?
Yeah.
Actually, that might have been before we started the podcast. You told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what sort of musical background did you have? Or what did you do?
I started playing the alto saxophone
sax,
in primary school. I guess it was just like whenever they like started to offer instruments to kids. I think it was like year 5 or something. So yeah, I started learning in year 5, and then I guess I just stuck with it. And like I was in all the bands at school, and I actually particularly liked jazz. Like once I got to high school, I liked the jazz bands I was in. So they had like the different leveled bands, and the top one was big band, and I was in big band for a couple of years, like my sort of last 3 or so years of high school, and I really, really loved that. It was just so groovy, and like I was playing the saxophone, so it was like, I don't know, I really liked that way more than like, because if you were in a jazz band, you'd have to typically be in like one of the classical bands as well. Yeah. I just much preferred the jazz over the
because I played trumpet as well. Yeah. So it's the same kind of thing, like, in the jazz.
It's just more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I just continued with it all the way through my school. I don't do saxophone now. I stopped as soon as I graduated, but I guess I've picked it up in other ways because DJing.
Have you got a sax?
Yeah, it's because my sister plays it as well, so my one kind of went to her, so I guess it's technically hers now. But yeah, we've still got it at home. I reckon I could still play it.
Yeah, get it out. I'm the same. I stopped playing trumpet when I finished school, but like then I actually don't have my trumpet. I've got my granddad's trumpet. Yeah. It's got like these weird mouthpieces that are strange, but like I tried to I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick it back up and start like playing a bit again. And I like played, and like 5 minutes later, my mouth's just like so sore. I'm like, oh man, it's like the same as gymnastics kind of thing. Like you lose it really quick. Like and that's probably it'd be the same for sax, but
we like
sure.
The way that you have to like put your mouth on the mouthpiece for a saxophone. You have to like tuck your bottom lip under and like put it against your teeth, and then you have to like kind of like that. That looks a bit weird, but you have to like bite your lip. And if you play for like hours in a band for rehearsal, it's like it's so painful because you get that like indent in the bottom of your lip from your teeth. You probably just get
used to it after a while.
It would still get like it would get so fucking sore, and it's like I could not do that.
What do you have to do again?
For like it's like you have to like tuck your bottom lip under.
I just wanted you to do it again for the camera. I'm so glad we record video now. Back when we used to do just audio, no one would have even known what you're doing.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Yeah. No, but that's awesome. So that's helped you, like, with music and DJing, obviously, because I think, as well, me having a musical background, it definitely like helps.
Yeah, 100%.
I always described like DJing to my like friends who were like musicians as I'm like, it's like conducting two bands, but they're the most perfect bands you've ever seen play. And you can make just the low instruments play or just the high instruments play.
So true.
And you can, and so I explained, and they're all like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Like, so I always used to like explain it to them like that.
I've actually never thought of it that way before.
Yeah,
but
you're conducting the perfect band. So how did you start DJing then? When did you first pick it up, or what interests you in that?
Well, back when I was sort of fresh 18, I guess, and I became a promoter at the Met because I was like going out a bunch, and I actually hadn't been to the Met that many times before I became a promoter, but I saw that they were hiring new promoters, and I was like, oh, this promoting thing sounds pretty cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, and I think
people on lists.
Yeah,
it'd be important.
I think like both time, well, the couple of times that I went previously, I'd seen Noi play, and I was like, oh my god, he's so good, and I really love seeing Noi play, and so I was like, oh, I really want to do this promoter thing. So I like applied, and then they ended up being like, come in, we'll put you on like a trial thing. And so, I basically just started promoting and like getting to know like all the DJs there and like the people that would come and go from that club. And then I guess a bunch of the other guy promoters were DJs. And so I was like, that's fucking sick. Like, I really want to, like, I always thought that being a DJ would be really cool, but I was like, I probably would never do it. I would do the graphic design for DJs instead. So I was like, I'll just be like graphic designer for DJs. And I never actually thought I would go and be a DJ, but here we are.
I mean, who thinks that? I mean, it's different now, but like a while ago, it was like, who grows up and thinks, oh, I'm going to be a DJ when I grow up?
I'm older.
Like, I don't know. I feel like my parents would have been like, no, you're not going to do that.
Stay in school.
We did not spend all this money on your school so that you could become a DJ.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mum. So you started doing that, and so how did you learn, or how did you pick it up then?
Yeah, so I just like spoke to a lot of the boys about it, and I was like, I think I want to like learn how to DJ, and I got talking to Josh Townsend.
Yep.
I got talking to Josh, and because he was doing a bunch of the lighting at the Met.
Yep.
He was like, just come in like a couple of times, like maybe every Saturday for a couple of weeks. Just come in early at like 8 and like before the club opens, because this is in the main room. So that main room didn't open at this point in time until 11. So he was like, just come in at 8 and you can like, I'll teach you sort of the basics. And then.
So you learn in the main room of the Met.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, I learned on the main stage fucking CDJs at the Met.
Yeah. That's dope.
It's pretty cool. He just like taught me the basics, and then he was just like, all right, you know the basics now, you can like go from.
Yeah, you can. That's it. No more practicing on main stage at the Met. Go and practice at home.
Go practice.
You've had a taste now.
Yeah.
Get some decks or something, or figure it out.
I actually ended up like after I stopped going to the Met to learn, I actually borrowed Jay's decks. He just had a set of RX2s or whatever, and I just kept them at home for like 4 months, and I practiced a lot for those 4 months.
That's that gymnastics background coming in.
Yeah.
It's like just practice. Because like when I started, I'd do 2 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
Like every day. There was not a day when I did not do 2 hours, and I would record it and then I would listen to it as well.
Yeah.
Like stupid. But, well, not stupid.
No, it's like good.
Not stupid, but like it's, I think it's that work ethic thing from doing gymnastics for so long. Yeah. Mm. So you were practicing like for 4 months, just heaps.
Yeah.
And then what happened then?
I guess I'd sort of like, I still wasn't like super confident, but I was sort of like getting my confidence with mixing. And at this point in time, I was playing UK bass and bass line.
Yeah.
So it's very
Is that
different.
what you started on? I always love
Yeah.
like people like they're always sort of like a lot of people like cringe at their first music that they started playing or that they first liked and stuff. So yeah.
I just feel like it's so different. Like because I play tech house now and it's just like so well, not so different, but it's like
not that different. It's just not as heavy, I think, and not as hard, yeah.
I guess, I just started playing out. It was mainly sort of more bassline-y stuff. Just really liked that weird, like, wubby sort of sound. Yeah. And Jay, again, actually asked me back when Platinum Nightclub was a thing.
Yeah.
He asked, they were throwing this UK bassline sort of garage night. And Jay was like, do you want to play? And this was like my first sort of gig opportunity. And I was very hesitant. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. Like, I don't know if I'm ready. And Jay was like, shut the fuck up. Like, just do it. I'm putting you on.
Yeah.
So he just kind of like gave me the push to start playing gigs. And then I got another Platinum gig like a month or so later.
So you obviously did well at that first gig then.
Oh, no.
So what happened at the first gig? Tell us what happened.
It was
so you'd been so you'd played on CDJs and then you'd practice on the RX and then at Platinum it would have been CDJs on again.
Yes, but I think they were a different model and there was no like waveform. So obviously naturally I freaked out. I was like, where's the waveform?
That's a big thing these days too. Like, you know, like being able to use it without the waveform. Like I know a lot of places maybe have 900s or something and there's no wave, or, you know, or even 2000s and there's no like waveform. It's just and people can come unstuck when that happens and they're like, oh, I don't actually know, like, if I can't see it, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
and it's like I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know that there were like different sort of models of the CDJ.
Yeah. It's all the same. Like,
I didn't know, and because I was still like so new, and I also didn't know that there was an option to to not have a waveform, and I was like, oh my God, like, huh? And so I got up, and it was a back-to-back with Kendall Banks. And because Jay put me with him, so because he was like, he can just take the lead and he can help you, sort of thing. So I was like, okay,
he can help.
Yeah, like
just like nudges a track for you a little bit. Just on the side, and it's like, sounds.
Thanks, man. But yeah, I got up there and because it was my first real life gig. And I was so nervous, and I just kind of forgot how to do everything. Like that's how nervous I was. Yeah. And so I just kind of was standing up there and like I was like doing shit and I didn't know how I was doing it. It was just like muscle memory and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then I accidentally hit cue and then
the music stopped.
Yeah. It was honestly, because that was my first gig as well and I hit cue. I didn't really know how to recover and I was like, oh my God, did I just do that? And I just kind of like froze. I was like, oh. And Kendall just like quickly went over to the other side and loaded up a track and hit play. And I was like, oh no, like.
Yeah.
Look, it wasn't the best set of my life, but I guess it's a learning experience.
Everyone's first gigs aren't that great.
Yeah.
Well, some people.
Look, it could have gone worse, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, you got another gig after it.
Yeah, it was actually
How did that happen then?
Yeah, it was actually the same. Like it was the same event, just a different one.
They're like, we'll give you another shot. Like you're obviously fresh.
And I was
like,
all right this time. I was all right.
So you did well the second time. I think that's the thing. Like if your first gig you maybe don't do that great or your stuff up. If you redeem yourself in this, if you redeem yourself in the next one, it's fine. But like I feel like if you would to stuff up a second time, then they'd be like, all right, like So you did another one there for Platinum. So this was down the coast then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so were you living down there or anything? Or how did that?
It just
got that event down there. And then what happened from there? Like did you start getting stuff around Brisbane or was that easy to do or how did it sort of like progress?
I'm trying to remember. It's not even like that long ago. Like this was literally like the end of 2018. So it really wasn't that long ago.
Come on, you should remember this.
Yeah. No,
I'm trying to think back to when I said it's like a long time ago.
It honestly feels like a lot longer than like however much
All
time
sort
it
of
has
blurs
been.
and merges into
Yeah,
one.
it kind of has, to be honest. But I mean, I guess from there, I don't know. What did I do? I think I got a couple of and friends sets at the Met down in Coco. So I guess that really like pushed me forward as well. And then I guess I was just doing like events for friends and things. They were like, "Oh, do you want to play at my event?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And then I guess my name just sort of got pushed out there a little bit more, and I got booked for a couple more things.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been flowing from there ever since, I guess.
Yeah, and if you do a good job, like, you know what I mean? Like, you do a good job at something and you do well, then people go, "Oh, that was good. Like, I'll put you on this thing." And, you know, like, so, yeah, I think that's, you know, you just keep rolling with it and, you know, progressing like that. Yeah. And I'd say that, like, all the other stuff that you've done as well, like the promoting, gets your name out there and you meet people. And then also like the graphic design stuff, like, you know, it's a valuable skill to have in this industry to be involved in certain events and things, even if you're not DJing, you're still involved in some way. So you still know the people running the event or, you know, and that's, you know, you can network and make connections. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, awesome. Well, I got to go to the loo quickly. Okay. So let's have a break and then we'll come back and keep going.
All right.
Awesome. Sweet. And we're back again. We were just talking about the Sundays at Stockies. The Sundays at Stockies, not at the Bird, when we did the podcast, which hasn't been released to the public yet.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
actually,
no, it hasn't. So, but I think Bergie will get onto that. I still haven't finished the final one we did. But the one we initially did, we were talking and it's pretty funny because I had to, so that whole like day, I got there early to set up because I didn't know when we were starting to record, to film, do any of the stuff. So I got there early and of course,
had a few bevies.
Have a beer. Oh, here's some fries. Here's some drink cards, man. Thanks. Have some beers. Matt Lee comes in. Oh, you want a beer? Like, I can't say no. Like, yeah. So I was pretty drunk by the time we sat down and had a chat, and I'd had a lot of chats with other people throughout the night, and I can't remember what we were talking about at the time, but I just remember just going, I'm just going to go spew. And I've got up, didn't spew where we were, and as I was walking to the toilet, I spewed in the hall, like coming down the stairs, then in the hallway, and then like in the bar, and I spewed, and then I like cleaned myself up, come out, security's there. I'm like, sorry guys, I didn't mean to. I'm like, and I even said to him, I was like, I can pack up and go if you need me to. Like, so they're like, no, we know you're doing this. Like, we got to talk to the manager. Like, I was like, I'm really sorry, guys. Like, I tried to get to the toilet. Like,
I really did try my best.
I think I come back. Yeah, and I came back, and it was just hilarious. I think I'll try and find some of that footage, and we'll put it in now.
We went out just like a normal night out. Went to a bar, and
I've actually got to go.
Okay. Feeling better?
Alright, so I just went and spewed everywhere. Yeah.
Everyone on the podcast, I just want you to know that I was sitting out there minding my own business. This beautiful man over here runs out, spews a little bit on the stairs, and then bolts to the toilet, dumps half of his guts in the toilet hallway, and then dumps the rest of his guts in a toilet. So thank you for coming.
I didn't quite make it.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Have a beautiful night.
And now we're on the waters. So cheers. If it was there. So, but yeah, so that was pretty interesting. And we hadn't really met a lot before then, had we? Like, we're sort of like one of the first times we'd sort of really spoken a lot. And so that was
I didn't really know what you said at first. I was like, oh, okay. And then you just got up straight away and bolted.
Because I think whatever you were talking about at the time, I was in my head like, no, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, no, you're fine. You got this. You can at least finish talking to Zoe and then like go to the bathroom. No, like you're good. And then there's a point in my head where I was like, no, you're not good. You got to go.
You are not going to make it. And you didn't make it.
Yeah, well, I didn't. No. But yeah, that was an interesting time.
Yeah.
But that was a funny story.
It was funny.
I'd actually sort of forgotten about that until recently. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, good times. But sometimes I would question whether I should have had beer attached to the name of the thing that I'm known for now. It's like, it's good, but it's also sometimes not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel obliged to drink beer sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
that's fair enough.
But, yeah, so we were talking about, DJing and stuff and sort of how you sort of progressed a bit. But, like, what do you want to do with it? What's the goal? Like, do you want to tour the world? Do you want to, some people have different goals. Some people just want to, play a festival. Some people just want to do something like, what would you love to do? Let's talk big, the big goal, if you could.
Oh, see, I'm on it. Like, whenever people ask me things like this, I'm the sort of person that's like, I'm just here now and I'm just going to see where I go sort of thing. I don't really like to think and be like, oh, I really want to do that. I mean, obviously I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Like, I would really love to do that.
What would be cool? What would be cool?
Yeah.
You're not even saying it. Yeah.
Big long-term, solid concrete goals. I just don't really think about because I'm like, what if I don't do that? Then I'm going to get disappointed. It's like.
But some people don't want to tour the world or play in another country or something. And some people do. So I think that's why I asked that question because some people are like, oh no, I really see it only as I want to do it now and maybe play interstate a bit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I want to take my design, my graphic design and build a business, people have different ideas for their life. Not everyone wants to be in planes all the time and in the back of cars getting transported to a festival 3 hours in the bush or something. You know what I mean? It's like touring the world it's hard.
Yeah,
it's not as easy as people think. It's a lot of travel and time by yourself. You see so many artists Avicii, for example. It's crazy. It's hectic and doing all those shows and stuff. So is that something that you would like to do if you had the opportunity and could get there?
Yeah, look, I guess I have a bit of an easier time, sort of planning more 5 years in the future. So I guess maybe within the next 5 years, I just sort of want to, obviously I want to build my production. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of DJing, I just really want to keep pushing my name out there as much as I can.
Yeah.
Get a resident. I don't actually have a residency anywhere yet.
Who has residencies though?
Yeah.
I feel like residencies are pretty.
You don't really need it, but if you want,
but especially at the moment, because a residency, it's because there's no internationals coming in.
It's just
if a club
locals.
just has residents, it gets stale. Whereas when you have those headliners coming in, you can have residents, and then the headliners come in, which give that difference. So I feel like at the moment, residencies aren't, and there's probably less clubs now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so lucky here in Brisbane, in Queensland, some of the rest of the world is
not
there's
in a
nothing.
good way.
They haven't left their house. People, some people haven't left their house in months.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's weird being here and we don't really.
It's almost
things
we're
are so normal. Yeah, it's normal here almost.
Yeah.
We're a little bit affected, but it's some places it's nah, that's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. In terms of I guess I would love to maybe do a world tour or something.
Yes,
eventually
we got you to
one
say
day.
it. Yes,
but I also don't think. I don't know. This is probably it's an unpopular opinion, but it's just how I am. I'd when you go on family holidays and things, it's I've had a couple of situations where I just haven't gone because I don't know. I just feel weird being away from my home, and it's I don't like going places for very long. if I'll go somewhere for a couple of days, I just start, I don't know whether it's like homesickness or like FOMO or I don't know. I just feel really weird if I'm not here in Brisbane. So obviously I think I'd love to maybe do like a world tour or something one day, but I just think I wouldn't be able to do it all the time, like massive, like David Guetta touring fucking everywhere. And like, I don't think I can do that.
You need your home base.
Yeah.
Where it's like familiar and.
Yeah, I think at that point, like if I got to a point where I could do that, I feel like I'd be sacrificing maybe some of my like mental health to go and like do that. But I don't know, I guess.
But is that because of the people maybe, or is it because of the place? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're going somewhere maybe because you don't see your friends or you don't, you know, you got a boyfriend, a partner or whatever and you miss them, or is it more people or a place thing you think?
Oh, I guess maybe probably people.
Yeah.
Probably a bit place as well.
Welcome to therapy.
Yeah.
No, it's no, but it's interesting because, you know, like some people, you know, it is a place and some people need their alone time in a place. And some people it's like, oh no, I need my friends or I need this person or whatever, you know, because that's what keeps you sane or, you know, makes you feel like you or something like that. So it's interesting to hear people's like what they think it is. But I think that'd be like cool, a world tour. And but like, you know, to do that kind of stuff, like you said, it's like your production. Yeah. That's what you have to have. Like, you know, there's so many people like, oh, party DJs are the, you know, oh, everyone, you know, they're the ones who get the crowd going and that. It's like, yeah, but when was the last time you saw a party DJ headline a festival?
Yeah.
I mean, like it might happen once every now and again, but because you're playing to the crowd, people aren't necessarily coming specifically to see you. Yeah. You know, and that's where the production and stuff comes in. Yeah. So what kind of music? I'm assuming you've been making tech house music. Yep. Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of just stick in tech house as a genre. I don't know. I'll play a bit of light bass house here and there if like someone after me is playing a bit heavier, but I don't know. I really like tech house, so I kind of just stick to that. So I guess I've been and I want to make tech house.
Yeah. What kind of tech house? Because tech house, like I feel these days, is quite diverse. Like, you know, there's different kinds of tech house. Like what are some artists or some kind of sounds or styles? Sometimes labels are a good way to describe tech house, I feel. Yeah. Like what sort of is your vibe, and maybe not just DJing but production that you'd like to make?
Well, I guess for a label to describe it, I really like Hood Politics as a label. Yeah, I guess they're kind of tech house, and like the tech house that I sort of tend to lean more towards is more of that like thumping sort of fat baseline sort of tech house. Not
I almost call it like rolling.
Yeah.
It's sort of like rolling, the baseline sort of rolls underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the kind of tech
kind of
house
like what you were playing, you guys were playing last night. Yeah.
Like, and then there's the other sort of like more groovy, like sort of end of it. I don't know. I don't really play a lot of the lighter tech house very often. Like if there's a situation where it's appropriate, I'll do it. But I just prefer the more like pumping, thumping, like rolling bass line.
That's what I think of, like rolling, you know, they always say like drum and bass says rollers or whatever. Yeah. Like, I think of like that's kind of like almost like a genre in tech house. Like, you don't have any interest in like the weird Dirty Bird sort of vibes?
I don't really get around Dirty Bird. Like some tunes, I
find
good.
It's like tech house. Like the people are either like they love that stuff, or they like the rolling sort of stuff that you like. I was talking to Needs No Sleep about this the other day. I was like, have you ever thought about making like
He's an example, actually. I fucking love his music.
Yeah. So like I said to him, I was like, have you ever thought about making like, you know, like weird Dirty Bird stuff? And he's like, oh man, that stuff just doesn't really make me want to dance. So I like to make stuff that makes me want to dance. And so it's interesting to see, like it's almost like two opposite sort of like, you know, vibes, I guess. I like all of it though. Yeah. To be honest,
I do like occasionally the sort of like weird and wacky sounds, but I'd prefer those sounds to be in conjunction with like a
Yeah.
really fat bass line sort of thing. I don't know. That's just,
Because I feel like in the rolling one, it's like the bass line is like the main thing driving the track forward.
Yeah.
Whereas in those weird genres, the bass is maybe like in the back and it's just doing something, and then it's all the weird shit that's going on around the bass. So yeah, it's different. And so that's obviously what you're gonna make. So have you like been working on, like, I suppose with that genre, bass synthesis is really important. Yeah. Is that something you've looked into a fair bit, or I think you said weeds you learned a bit from weeds before? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I first started getting into production, he'd been helping me out a bit. We just did like studio sessions every now and then. And he'd just teach me some stuff. But yeah, I think his sort of house is a bit different to mine nowadays. I think he's sort of going a bit more like commercial, sort of deep housey sort of vibe.
Yep.
He still gets around tech house a lot. But yeah, I guess he was just helping me with production. The tune that we were making, it was a bit more techie. And it's not finished yet, but
I mean, when is the track ever finished? It's not out either. Like,
it was a bit more techie, but it wasn't sort of like that fat sort of like bass line that if I was making a track on my own, would make. But yeah, it's still coming together. So
and you guys are gonna finish that and
probably eventually.
That's what, like, it's hard to say with tracks. It's like, I've got tracks that I was like, I'm definitely going to finish that and put it out. And then it's like, then a year later, you're like, oh, I hate that track.
I think this, we do need to get back to this tune. It's just been a while since we've looked at it. But yeah, I started something of my own a couple months back. But I also haven't looked at that in a while because I'm about to go back to uni. So I'm just kind of
But you're about to go back to uni, so you haven't looked at it in a while. Like, now you're not going to have the chance to go because
it's kind of tough doing uni and that at the same time, if I'm honest. Like, it's just a lot to think about, which is why I'm very excited to graduate uni.
So you're in your last year then, you said, So what do you want to do with the design stuff then? Like, is that something you want to do, like, more freelance stuff with, or is it something you're looking to do more permanent? Like, how do you see that working?
I guess I do really like freelancing at the moment because it's like I can take whatever job I want. I can
turn
do
down
it
things.
when I can do it when I want, whenever I want. Like, it's very flexible. And there's like no set hours. So the only bad thing is that it's not like a steady stream of like income. Which is why it's sort of more, I guess, a side hustle sort of thing at the moment. Obviously, if I took on more jobs, it would be a bit more constant. But at the moment, it's like I'll have 4 jobs one week and then next week I'll have none for like 2 weeks. And it's I do love freelancing though. It's good. And it's good because I do it for people in the music industry in like Brisbane and Gold Coast and wherever, I guess, whoever contacts me. But it's good to, I like staying in the music industry because it's like, it's relevant to what I
and you
like
know
as
people
well.
And you sort of understand what a lot of people who maybe ask you probably know them, you know their music, you know what the vibe. It's easier to maybe come up with a idea or you sort of can get their concept a bit because you know them a bit. So I suppose that helps. But so is that something that you want to just keep doing as like freelance and not so much you don't want to make it a full-time thing, or what do you see like the future?
I think once I graduate, I think I want to go into maybe a full-time graphic design job. And I will still do my freelancing on the side. I just don't know where I'm going to be yet. I
suppose you get to try it, see if you really love the full-time thing and you can do the DJing on the side, or maybe you're like, I actually preferred the freelance stuff? I suppose it's hard
Yeah.
because you got the production and DJing and the other stuff. It's like, what do you choose? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think something in my mind tells me that I'm going to like the freelancing stuff better unless I can find a full-time graphic design job somewhere in the music industry.
Yeah.
Because then it'll be like the same pretty much. It'll just be like freelancing, but it'll be a 9 to 5 sort of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even being the graphic designer for a club or something once I first graduate, or working for an event.
Yeah. So it's like constant, like it's regular.
Yeah.
It's not just freelance in terms of here and there.
Yeah.
It's like a regular thing. Like, they do, an event every month and they need artwork and all that kind of stuff. Or they do every weekend, and they need artwork and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But definitely still in the creative sort of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that I really like my music industry stuff because it makes me like I can be more creative.
Yeah.
Which is also why I think that unless it's a 9 to 5 in the music industry, I'm not really going to enjoy it because it'll be very like sort of corporate like I don't really.
It's not so much creative then, is it?
It's
sort of
just kind of like putting things together.
Yeah.
Does it look okay? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think the creativity side of it for me is just definitely where I want to stay.
Yeah. And so what about the name Zedena? Where does that come from?
Well, so I'm Greek.
Yeah.
And so when I was coming up with my name, I wanted to sort of have a Greek origin.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of so my initials are ZD. So I was kind of like what about ZD? Like, ZD, some sort of like D word. So I was Googling like Greek D words that that started with D.
All right. Googling words that start with D. Yeah.
That was sort of like had a Greek meaning or something like that. That I could sort of turn into a DJ name with the Z on the front. And I came across Dina in Greek, and I could be wrong. I think it means powerful, but I could be wrong.
Someone look that up.
It's like
tell us in the comments.
I swear I saw it on some website, and I was like, this is like it could be wrong, but it also like Zedena sounds pretty cool. I could
and you
roll
haven't
with
checked
that.
it since?
No.
I mean, Google's a thing.
No,
I
haven't. But basically, I took like an unnecessary amount of time doing like all the different ways I could spell it and like
so you really thought about this. Yeah,
I really did think about it because I was like, if I choose something and then it's like if it goes somewhere, I don't really want to have to like change my name. Like kind of want to like stick with it. So I was like, it's got to be good. But yeah, I came up with Zedena through that, I guess, and could be off like lies or I don't know, but that's just kind of what I'm. That's kind of what I'm going with.
You spent all this time figuring it out so that you could be like get the perfect name, and you didn't
it could actually just be wrong.
It could actually be wrong.
But yeah,
I can't wait till we finish so that I can figure. It looks like I can Google what it means. That's going to be hilarious if it's something else totally different.
Yeah.
No, but that's cool. I like that you're sort of paying homage to your heritage, I suppose, and making it individual.
Yeah,
I've never heard of anyone else named Zedena.
Yeah, that's another reason why I was like, this sounds pretty cool, and no one's ever. I think when I went on Instagram for the first time to check if anyone had that username, I typed in Zedena, and all that came up was a Zed and Selena Gomez fan account that hasn't been active for ages.
Yeah,
obviously. So I don't know. I was like, this sounds pretty cool. I'm just gonna roll with this.
Cool, awesome.
And that I sort of try and keep my whole brand sort of paying homage to my Greek heritage a little bit because I have a mixed series as well. It's called In the Clouds, and I kind of. My vision with that was you got one side, it's like when people listen to my music, I want them to just feel like totally like they're in the music, like their heads are in the clouds sort of thing, you know, just taken away by the music. And then there's the other side. It's like, you know, the Acropolis and things like, it's like up like in the clouds, like up on the mountains. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Cool.
That's why.
So how long has the mixed series been going for? Because I do know that you have this mixed series. I was going to ask about it, but how many?
It's
episodes? How regular do you do it?
It's got 8 episodes at the moment.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you when I started it because I can't do the maths in my head right now. But I basically try and do them every 2 months.
Yeah.
I was initially going to aim for, before I started it, I was going to aim for one a month. But even after doing the first one, it was just, I find mixes for me take a little bit longer because I really want them to
be like perfect.
It's almost to the point where I like listen to it so much that I don't like it and I think it's not good enough. And then it's like, I'll come back to it in a couple of days. I'll be like, oh, it's actually all right. You're just being dramatic. But yeah, I try and do them every 2 months because I think that is just a bit more manageable. Like I don't want to be doing them every single month and then losing quality.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like a lot of people, like we're always our worst critic.
You
know, like we're not really the best judge of our own things. Like I've played sets before and I'm just like, oh, that was so terrible. Like I stuffed up so many times and people just come and go,
they're like, that was fucking awesome.
That was amazing. That was incredible. I'm like, nah.
So you're just saying that.
You're just saying that. They're like, nah, it's good. And then like you listen back to it or something like a month later and you're like, actually, that was pretty good. Like, you know, like, so I think that's something that we all struggle with is that self-doubt and like listening to it. And you always want it to be perfect, but you know, like there's a great saying.
There's always something.
There's a great saying. I think it's perfection is the killer of creativity.
Yeah.
And I love that saying because it's hard to make things perfect. And like you said, we're our worst critics and sometimes we're not a good judge. So send us the mix next time and I'll listen to it and tell you. Actually, no, don't, because everyone sends me mixes and I'm always like,
I'll listen.
I wish I can. No, I have to actually tell people, I'm like, I don't have time to listen to your mix. I'm sorry. I can maybe listen to half of it, but I don't have enough time to listen to it. So yeah, but.
Well, you do a lot of things, to be fair.
I love it when people say do. And you do a lot of things. I don't know, like I always laugh inside my head when people say that. I don't know why. But yeah, I try and stay busy so I keep out of trouble.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I need to get into more production. I've been really lacking on that. So what have we got coming up for you? Is what's it on the radar? Have you got your the gig next weekend?
Yeah.
Which this episode will actually be out after that gig has happened.
Well.
So you've just played the gig on the weekend. But what have you got anything else lined up or anything you want to do or looking to do? New mix coming out soon in 2 months or a month? Or?
Oh, I actually haven't started planning my next mix, but I should probably do that.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. I guess there will be a new In the Clouds mix out soon. And then I have a show in Bundaberg, which is the 20th of March, I believe, which is going to be announced later this week.
So it'll be announced by now?
Yeah.
By the time this is out, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's happening next month. And then I just got news this morning, actually, that I'll be playing a festival coming very soon.
Ooh, nice.
Don't
even. I can't even think of what festival's coming up soon. But
yeah,
yeah, cool. That's awesome.
I'm very excited.
Is that a local thing, or can you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So local festival. Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool.
I guess that's all I really have.
Festivals
for that.
coming back. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure there'll be other like gigs come up around like you did the Cherry Tone thing with those guys last time, last night. It was last night. And yeah, there's always like other stuff coming
Yeah.
up. So I'm sure there'll be some cool stuff. Good
Mm.
to see you play again. But yeah, well, awesome. Thanks for coming in, and it was great to sit down and have a chat and not run off to have
Not
a spew this time. Yeah. But yeah, it was great. Like, I really sort of I thought it was awesome that we randomly had that gymnastics
Yeah.
connection and then playing music and stuff as well. And I didn't know about the physio stuff because I studied physio for a while as well. So like I sort of was, that same vibe. So yeah, awesome. Good to catch up, and I'm sure I'll see you out again soon.
Yeah.
Probably next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, where can we find you online? What's the best way to find you on your socials and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, probably Instagram is probably the best.
Yeah.
The best
And
place.
what's your Instagram handle?
At Zedena Music. And then I've also got my graphics account, and that's Zedena Graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One word, no dot or anything?
Nah, just one word for both of them.
Yeah, cool.
Zedena
Awesome.
Music and Zedena Graphics.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, make sure you guys all go and check out, Zedena's mixes, the mix series, and the graphic design stuff, and check out her at a gig sometime. So, thanks for coming in.
That's okay.
See you guys. Have a good one.